Hi.
Hi, what's up? Welcome back to
The
what? Another episode of what? It's called Crime Cocktails and BS.
crime
Cocktails
cocktails
and
and
BS.
BS. We come up with some dumb intro announcement for our
Like
podcast
that.
name. Yeah.
Like what
Crime,
exactly we just did.
cocktails,
Oh,
and BS.
um, it's so funny. Someone asked me how we came up with the name, and I was like, legit, we threw what we were doing in chat GPT and it saw what spewed out, and then we were
We had
like
hundreds.
yeah, and I think in the end we just took bits and pieces from stuff and we were like, this is it, done.
Yes.
Wonderful.
This is it. Got it.
Thank you guys for sticking around for the origin story, but we are so excited for today because clearly we're both unhinged, which means
Yes.
so much fun for us. It is going to take a dark and stormy turn, and that was not a pun this week.
Ooh. It's gonna be real dark for a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be real dark for dark. It's gonna be real dark for a hot minute. So we will 110% put in the time stamp for when we get to the fun part. Because yeah, shit's
Probably
real.
the darkest case I've ever read about.
I thought the Candyman one was the darkest. This, I think, takes the cake.
Oh, that was pretty bad too. Yeah, this
That
is
was bad.
really. Ugh.
Okay, but before we do that, I was telling Kaisa before we started recording, I shot up in the middle of the night, ran to my desk from my bed, and had to write down 2 icebreaker questions to start the episode because I was so
I'm excited and scared.
The question that shot into my head at 2 a.m. was, what do you consider to be the best song from a fictional band?
Okay.
My number 1 would be, my favorite song from a fictional band is Supernova Girl from Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century.
Yes. I don't know.
How good
man.
is that jam? Zoom, zoom, zoom.
I don't know if I have an answer though.
Okay, well, I'll just give you my top 3. So
yeah, give me yours because
okay,
I don't have
Supernova
one.
Girl from Xenon,
okay,
hardcore.
that's a good one. Yes,
I found it on Spotify, but it's only a remix. But I'm into it. It's fine. I'll listen.
Okay.
Eye to Eye from the Goofy movie.
Yes.
Which is so good. By the way, you can now buy the band t-shirt, like the concert t-shirt from that guy, from the Goofy.
Really?
Movie. Yeah, I need it. I absolutely
you do need that.
You need and that. Then rounding out my top 3 is a non-Disney themed one. It is Pop Goes My Heart from Music and Lyrics with Hugh Grant. I wasn't gonna lose my head, and then pop goes my heart. I love that one.
Good one.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, did you ever watch that show with Sarah Bareilles in it, and they're like a fake girl band, like a fake girl group?
Oh, with
Busy Phillips.
Busy Phillips. Yeah, I started watching that. That was good too.
Yeah, like the music from
that
that's
has
really
some good songs.
Yeah, that has some really good ones.
Yeah.
See, Girls, like there's so much more. Yeah, Girls 5 Eva. Oh, and you know what I just thought of in my head? Everything from Josie and the Pussycats. That movie.
Oh, of course.
And the fake Backstreet Boys band.
Busy Phillips
from Rick and Morty.
Podcast, by the way. Rick and Morty.
Get Swifty is one of my favorite songs.
Swifty.
I gotta admit it. Get Swifty.
Oh my god.
100% into it. I listen to that in my car while I drive. That is on multiple playlists.
Obsessed with that.
I would love for someone to listen to our episodes and then tell us about our psyches, because we are complete. Honestly, I may have watched.
We're different.
Yeah, I may have watched Shrek last week when I was sick. That's like one of my comfort movies. It's from 2001. We were like 10, 11. It's fine.
Okay.
I also got Gianna's son into it, and now he refers to it as the Dragon movie, and I absolutely adore that.
The Dragon movie.
The Dragon movie. But I was watching it. Oh my god, where was I going with this?
Something about your psyche.
And Shrek says that he's an onion and has layers.
I love that scene.
We are onions. And then
So many
Donkey's like,
layers.
what about a cake? Cake has layers. And I'm like, I like the onion more. It makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta
Peel back
peel
those
it back.
layers. Also,
Yes.
the new Jumanji is one of my comfort movies, so I can't judge
With
you.
Jack Black and The Rock. I love Jack Black. Wait, have you seen
So do I.
there's that new trend on TikTok that's like, who is your unconventional celebrity crush? Jack Black?
I could, yeah. No, I mean, unconventional, maybe. He's like so charismatic. I'm obsessed.
I adore him, yeah. I still think mine has to be Sirius Black, but is that considered unconventional?
Sirius Black. He's so mysterious and dark.
Anyone covered in that many
sexy.
tattoos and like the facial, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
The mustache is like,
I feel you.
it is a
good
problem.
stuff.
Okay, I'm overheating. You know what would help this is a nice sip from Kaisa's Cocktail Corner.
Kaisa's Cocktail Corner. The Banana Queen. And
Woo!
it is a blended drink, kind of new. Coconut cream, banana, Malibu, spiced rum, tamarind soda, nutmeg, and ice.
And guys, don't forget, you can turn all of our mocktails into cocktails and vice versa. As well as, we completely understand we are taking normal cocktails and changing the names.
Yeah, someone went off on our Instagram.
But not on us.
There's a whole ass argument with like two people being like,
yeah, we were just supposed to go back and forth.
This is not a Manhattan. This is a Manhattan. Blah, 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 blah. We understand.
You need to have this much vermouth, and yeah, we're guys.
Yeah.
This is for fun. We're not.
This is just for fun.
Neither of us have ever said we had bartending skills.
We are not claiming like that we're making these. These are twists on cocktails. If the twist is just changing the name, that's what it is.
That's
it's
great.
Just for fun.
And it's really just to, also, we call ourselves Crime Cocktails and BS. We kind of have to have a fucking cocktail in there. Like,
kind of have to.
Can't not. So, yeah. So sometimes we just change the name to fit whatever we're talking about. Which, if you haven't realized this week, we're talking about RuPaul's Drag Race. Start your engines. We're talking about. I don't know what's going on with me today, actually. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
But, it's fine.
I'm obsessed with your nails, by the way.
Thank you. I'm calling them chic emo. They're
so
the motherfucking nails.
They're
chic
beautiful.
Emo. I'm into them. Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. I text Kaisa after I got them done, and I said chic or black and white cookie, and we've landed on chic emo, and that is my goal. That is my goal for my 2024. I feel like I've entered my villain era, but in the aesthetics, I guess. But before we dive in to
Trigger
Bananarama.
Yes. Ding dong.
Ding dong. We definitely 100% need to do a trigger warning. Because
this one's tough.
Woo! Yes.
I was like I watched the Peacock documentary and I was like screaming at the TV. Yeah.
You always, you know what? I got it. If we had to give awards, I'd give you the award for always going the extra mile. Because you watch the shit. I'm like,
well, no, because I try to find like different little things that I can find like some fun facts that aren't just all out on the internet,
Yeah, no,
it was pretty dark.
This shit's dark. Okay, so we're talking about so we're talking about the Toolbox Killers. Trigger warning. Everything.
There's everything bad in this. Rape, murder, kidnapping.
Bad men.
Awful things. Terrible,
Awful.
terrible things.
Yeah. So we will 100%, like I said, we will put the timestamp in the description so you can skip on ahead in case either you're listening and it gets too heavy or you're just not interested, which is totally cool. We appreciate you being honest with yourself. We love self-awareness. So
protect yourself if you need to.
Protect yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. That's what we like to say. Kais is like, why the fuck did I sign up for this?
I'm loving it. This is great. This is the energy we want.
This is the energy we need. Ah, yes. Okay.
Okay, so we're starting here, flagging the start of the awful things.
Of the awful things.
We've got our novels of notes.
Yes. All right.
Oh, so this is about the Toolbox Killers, Lawrence Sigmund Bittaker and Roy Norris. Terrible, terrible humans of the planet that are no longer with us, thankfully. In 1979, Bittaker and Norris used the roads of California as their hunting grounds and relied on the remote areas of the San Gabriel Mountains where they brutalized and killed their victims.
Bittaker was born in Pennsylvania. He is a Libra, because now I'm very interested in seeing what signs all these crazy people are.
I love that you're looking these up. That's awesome.
Well, because they say there's a lot of Sagittarius, and I happen to be one. So I like to just keep
a serial killer.
No, I'm not. I'm a serial killer when it comes to looks, maybe, but
yes,
not people. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yes. So Lawrence Bittaker from Pennsylvania. He was an unwanted child of a couple who had not chosen to have children, and he was placed in an orphanage by his birth mother and then was adopted. His adopted father worked in aviation industry, which required the family to move around a lot throughout the United States. And Bittaker also has an extremely intense criminal past.
So extremely intense. Wait, I just want to jump in. Yeah. His aunt and uncle were the ones that adopted him.
Thank you. That was not in my research.
And he said they basically fed him and clothed him, but didn't give him any ounce of attention. He basically alone, like all day, every day. So he was.
This is where the nature versus nurture thing comes in. Like
exactly.
I love this stuff. Like, was he just always destined to be this fucked up dude? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So his first arrest was for shoplifting at age 12. A lot of petty theft within the next 4 years of his life. And then he would later claim that these numerous theft-related offenses committed throughout his adolescence had been attempts to compensate for the lack of love he received. Which is like...
And getting attention too, yeah.
Yeah, that's so sad. And then he dropped out of school, and within that year, he'd been arrested for car theft, hit and run, and evading an arrest when he was in prison so he went to prison then at the California Youth Authority until he was 18. And then his aunt and uncle, it says, disowned him and moved to another state. Okay.
And it's really dark, so be prepared. When he was a little kid, his mom gave him up, like he said. And he actually was so mad when he was a little kid that he made up several plans to kill his mom.
Oh.
His adopted parents, his aunt and uncle, did not even have birthday parties for him. Nothing like that. It was literally
what the fuck? That's like baseline parenting.
It sounds terrible. It's really sad. He had a 138 IQ, super, super smart person, but he was
I have a 132.
Very unmotivated. That's really good.
Does that mean I'm destined? Guys, I'm gonna have an existential crisis during this whole thing.
You are going to become a serial killer. No, but he played with fire as a kid. He burned down a couple sheds, and he was in his interview. He was like, "I just wanted attention, so I did that." He actually tortured animals, and trigger warning, he snuck out one night and pulled rabbits' eyeballs out with pliers.
Oh,
and started doing shit like that while they were alive, and it's really fucking sad.
I mean, that's also
Um,
something that is like a trend.
it's a warning, yeah.
And
It's a
yeah,
red
is
flag.
like, yeah, that's a red fucking banner.
He also he actually said this in the interviews. He was like, I'd set an alarm for midnight when I was a kid, and I would sneak out of the house, wander around the neighborhood, and peep into windows, and he would actually break into houses and move furniture around and then leave and just like
To
watch
freak
people
people
freak
out.
out. Yeah, it was like a mental game, which is really fucking scary. So that's a big sign of psychopathy. Like people do shit like that and play with
Yeah,
people's psyche,
minds.
and it's like fun for them. Yeah.
I mean,
There's
that's one
also
thing to do as a hobby, I guess.
it's so fucked up. It's so
I
dark to be
believe that
like,
there's
this is
other things.
fun.
Yeah, like why not try, I don't know, pottery? Like, I don't know.
Some roller skates or something. I don't know. He also had a girlfriend in high
Oh,
school,
bless her.
and he said, so this is where they think it started. He took her into the mountains, the same mountains, told her he loved her, and she didn't say it back. So the
Yeah.
and he said, and the girlfriend actually looked like most of the victims. The blonde hair, blue eyes, wore a cross, and he actually made some of them wear a cross when he
I wear
was
one.
killing them. You're not setting yourself up to win in this situation.
No, I'm losing hardcore. But isn't it crazy? Like so many killers that we have covered or will cover, thanks to our wonderful spreadsheet, um, have that trend of going after like their victims are like, or they share the same features or similar features to like a person that they connect with from their past. I feel like a lot of time
Some
it's
kind of
the mother.
trauma that they had.
Yeah.
Hmm.
A lot of time it's the mother or the
Hmm.
father or a ex lover. And it's,
It's so creepy.
I'm
I
honestly
just want to
sweating
say one more
just
thing.
talking
I know
about this.
it's
Whew.
too much. Stole steaks from Ralph's one day. Someone came after
Ralph's.
him as he was walking out from Ralph's in California because he was in California. And
We've, you know what? We've both shopped there. Isn't that
I
nice?
go, yeah, that's where I go.
That was my
But
old grocery store when I
he
lived in
said,
LA.
I
Sorry.
know it's a good one. It's cheap. It's the
Ralph's
cheapest
is
one.
nice. Yeah.
He said I turned around and somehow had a knife in my hand. I don't know what happened. He stabbed this
Oh no.
guy and almost killed him, and that sent him to jail. So that was
At
like one of the
Ralph's.
first times. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen weird shit happen
yeah.
at Ralph's, but no one gets stabbed.
It's just so
I've,
creepy the way he was talking about everything. He's like, I
yeah.
somehow did this, and I don't know
Like,
how it
I have
happened. I
no
just must have
idea.
had a
How did this
knife.
happen? Like a
Yeah,
break in his
it's like
psyche or
taking all the
something.
blame off of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. Well, let's face it,
really creepy.
after reading about him, he definitely has some narcissistic tendencies. So, what's one thing a
Yeah,
narcissist can't do is take any blame on themselves.
yeah,
They are the victim.
yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, he's definitely a psychopath. Like he was diagnosed as a psychopath. So,
thank God someone did that. Or actually, wasn't it
or what
multiple
is it?
doctors?
Antisocial personality disorder. Is that the
Yeah.
same
Which,
thing
by
as
the way, I had
psychopathy?
no idea that was a thing.
I didn't either. Or
I feel like that explains
antisocial
so many
avoidance.
people.
It does. Yeah.
It does. But
Uh,
regardless, then you have his counterpart, Roy Norris, who is from Colorado. So now we have someone from, see, serial killers are from everywhere, guys, not just Florida and Wisconsin
it's
like
so
we like to
scary.
think. Yes. Did you actually know that there's a statistic that like you probably walk by at least six serial killers in your lifetime?
Yeah, that's horrifying. Like, what
Yeah,
if you
that's
were
not.
like, hey, good morning?
Hey, like,
Hi.
oh, have a great day.
Oh,
All right. So he was conceived out of wedlock, which in the 40s was a big no-no. Big no-no. Yeah. So his parents did get married to avoid any stigma around it and the illegitimate birth, because he would have been a bastard like Alexander Hamilton.
bastard. Yes.
Who's a bastard orphan. Sorry. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm apologizing right now. His father worked in a scrapyard and his mother was a drug addicted housewife, which, by the way, back then, kind of normal for housewives.
Normal. Yeah.
Pretty standard.
Say.
Let's face it. They needed uppers to do all the work and downers. Yeah. Let's face it. They set such a high standard for how to keep a house.
I would be on drugs. I would be on crack.
Yeah. The only way they've been able to do it is because they were on drugs. Like, hello.
They had to clean, cook, take care of their, like, do gross things with their husbands, like bring them.
They had to vacuum and drink a martini at the same time. Like,
just that. How do you hold both things at the same time? Like, I don't understand.
I look like I'm fucking sparring with someone as a like, on guard. Like,
Dead.
It's so bad now that when we record this, I know exactly what parts of the episode Kaisa is going to clip and put them on Instagram and TikTok. Like, I know. Like, that one that just happened. Done.
That was happening.
Me doing something ridiculously stupid. And I live for it. Bring it on.
Everyone loves it, so you gotta.
Everyone loves it. Everyone loves how I said Elmo spreads toxic positivity.
They loved that.
Loved it. It's a good theory, though. Anyway, sorry.
It is so true.
So his extended family lived within a short distance, and and this is all due to his grandfather doing real estate investments. And repeatedly placed. He was then placed in foster cares around. So again, another child whose family didn't necessarily want him and got passed around. He said that his childhood recollections were interspersed with memories of wrongful accusations while living with his biological parents and of being neglected by many of the foster families he lived with, frequently being denied sufficient food or clothing. So very similar to how Bittaker was describing his childhood. You can see how the two kind of came together.
Need some emotional nurturing as a kid. Like, you can't just be abandoned.
Yeah. Well, then Norris continued saying that the prejudice he held towards Hispanic people originated from the neglect and abuse he endured as a child when placed in the care of a family. While living,
I didn't even know that was the thing.
Yeah, and then he went back to his birth parents, which is so bizarre to me that you're like passing him around and then all of a sudden you're ready to take him back. Like,
yeah,
where's DCYF in this case, or like what is Child Protective Services, like CPS? But so then Norris was living with his parents at the age of 16, and he visited the home of a female relative who was in her early 20s and began speaking to her in a sexually suggestive manner. She ordered him to leave her house and informed Norris's father, who then threatened to beat his son. I need to stop using my thumbs, apparently.
Really not a thumbs up situation.
I know. And then Norris then stole his father's car and drove into the Rocky Mountains. More mountains. Where he attempted to commit suicide by injecting pure air into an artery in his arm.
What? I did not read this. That's crazy.
You watched the docuseries? I went online. Boom, boom.
I went online too. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's freaking nuts.
He was later then apprehended as a runaway and returned to live with his parents. And then upon his return home, Norris's parents informed him that he and his younger sister were unwanted children and that they intended to divorce when both reached the age to leave home. Could you imagine? Okay, first of all, child of divorce here. Having your parents just even tell you that without being like just dark. Point blank sucks. It is a very dark moment. Think about it then, taking it to another level of your parents being like, we're just staying together.
We didn't want you.
And we didn't want you. We're just staying together because we're stuck with you. What the fuck?
That's very upsetting.
Yes. And then Norris dropped out of school and joined the Navy. Because apparently that's what we all do. He was stationed in San Diego. 1965 and was deployed to serve in the Vietnam War in 1969. Where's the naval? I didn't even know there was a naval base in San Diego.
Coronado.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's like the whole, yeah. There's
Oops.
a huge Navy.
Yeah. He didn't see any combat during his 4-month tour on duty, and he was honorably discharged from the Navy after one tour. Guys, the notes we have on this it's a thick boy.
It's absurd.
Listen to this.
It's absurd.
It's a thick boy. Okay, anyway. First offenses. How many? So, just so we're clear, these guys were in and out of prison throughout
they met in prison.
Their lives. Yeah, they met in prison. So
that's how they met each other.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah. So like Bittaker had been arrested multiple times. He was incarcerated for robbery, and then he was characterized by a psychiatrist as being highly manipulative. He was also said that he was having considerable concealed hostility, which is kind of obvious when looking at this. He would be released, and then he'd be imprisoned again for parole violation. He was prescribed antipsychotic medication, and then he'd get out of jail, then back in jail for theft. And then in 1974, he was actually arrested for assault with attempt to commit murder after he stabbed a young supermarket employee who had accused him of stealing. Ralph's. That's it. That's the Ralph's one.
Ralph's. That is.
It just didn't say Ralph's in my notes.
In jail for a while.
Yeah. So these men both met at the California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo.
So wait, just to go back, Roy Norris is not very smart. So we just that is like, so Bittaker used that obviously because he's so intelligent. He was manipulating Norris a lot. So he wasn't the brains. He was a very large man though. He was very large.
He was the brawn.
Strong.
It's literally the brains and bronze of the operation. It's Pinky in the brain, guys.
It is Pinky in the brain.
It's Pinky in the brain. But yeah, it's so interesting though to see the difference in their arrests, because Bittaker was more theft, robbery, and Norris was more sexual assaults.
Yep.
So you can kind of see how when the two of them came together, how
it melded.
These crimes actually were committed because they took the two, like, I don't even want to say this. This is the only word skills. I'm using giant air quotes.
I mean, they were skillful at it grossly, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, so like Norris had been arrested multiple times, forcing his way into cars of a lone woman, attempting to rape. He was diagnosed by military psychologists with schizoid personality disorder. Attacked a female student at San Diego State University. He was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. And he was also, after being in jail for 5 years for that, doctors actually said he was an individual who was of no further danger to others. God, were they wrong?
They were so wrong.
Months later, he assaulted a 27-year-old woman on her way home from a restaurant in Redondo Beach. He offered her a ride home. She declined. And then he parked his motorcycle and grabbed the woman's scarf, twisted it around her neck before informing her that he intended to rape her. She didn't resist because she was scared out of her mind. And although the rape was reported, they were initially unable to find the perpetrator until a year later. They were able to identify his license plate because she remembered it. And so he was then arrested and then sent to the California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo. And then the two of them met in 1977. So,
and what did they do in jail? They got together and talked about all the things they love. And made a plan to buy a commune or to build a commune in the middle of the mountains.
Yep.
they made plans for all of this shit that comes. So
Yeah, this is also after they were sitting in jail bonding over the fact that Bittaker was associated with hardened criminals from motorcycle gangs. Norris would tell Bittaker about that the biggest stimulation for him was seeing frightened young women.
Mm-hmm.
And he
so they're just like getting off just talking about their shit together.
And they ended up coming up with this elaborate plan to murder one girl of each teenage year between the ages of 13 and 19. And they vowed to become reacquainted once both of them were released to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, they actually planned to get a van and snatch victims together. So they called their van Murder Mac even before they got it.
Yes.
Which is disgusting.
And it was a silver gray 1977 GMC Vandura is the type of van, which is a vehicle with that's windowless in one side and has a larger passenger side sliding door. So this was perfect for them because when Bittaker saw the sliding door, he realized that Norris could pull up to a teenage girl really close and they don't have to open the door the whole way.
It's so creepy.
And then, and then they finally, Bittaker was released in 1978. He started working as a skilled machinist. He was making about $1,000 a week. He became friendly with several people in the neighborhood. He would donate to the Salvation Army. So he was putting out this persona that he was a good guy. Yeah. And he also became particularly popular among the local teenagers. He later admitted the primary reason he always had beer and marijuana in his Burbank motel was that his residence would remain a popular place for teenagers to socialize.
So gross.
So gross. And then Norris was released in 1979. He moved into his mother's home. And then within 1 month of his release, he had raped a woman when he then simply abandoned her in the desert. He found employment as an electrician in Compton. And then finally, in late February of 1979, the pair met at a hotel and rekindled their plan.
A couple women that were actually subpoenaed later during the trial, but they were actually like, he was so kind to me. Like, he had a thing for pregnant women and he actually cared about them or like wouldn't rape or murder them. And this was before Norris got released. So he took them in and gave them money and food for clothing, housing, doctors, appointments, everything.
Interesting.
Teenage pregnant people. And they said that he was really very kind.
Yeah. I mean, Bittaker really wasn't the one who was bringing on like the sexual assault portion.
Yeah, but he was violent.
Well, I mean, obviously.
But one woman said that something happened where they got in an argument and he said, the only reason you're alive is because of me and I took you in, and he pointed a gun at her and then she ran away and that was it. But
narcissist much?
Creepy shit to take in pregnant teenagers. I'm sorry.
I'm trying so hard not to say something.
No, creepy paper.
Creepy paper. I say that every time we say creepy.
Probably.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way there's no doubt in my mind.
He also said to all of them, promise me one thing if I'm like helping you with all this shit, that you'll be a good mom. So it's kind of sad, but also like,
yeah, I just turned into a sad puppy for a second and then had to remind myself that this guy's a fucking serial killer.
It is sad though, because some of those things are like,
sad.
You've dealt with that as a kid. Like, it's, I don't know. Their inner child. You know?
So now the two of them got together. They're together
decked out their fucking van.
Murder Mac. And from February to June of 1979, the two men would pick up over 20 female hitchhikers.
Wait, I want to just say something because I thought you would love it because we've talked about it before. They had walkie-talkies that they used all the time, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna ruin walkie-talkies for us. But
No, nothing can ruin a walkie-talkie for me. I love them so much.
In Murder Mac, they put walkie-talkies, police scanners, a bed. They put carpeting in it. They put curtains over the windows. They like covered everything. They also soundproofed the walls of it. And they found photos of them before they started any of the murders. They found photos of them at the spot where they dropped bodies, taking pictures, pointing down into the ravine, like smiling. They showed them on the documentary. It was really creepy.
Oh.
They like scouted it out. They had a deep plan. Like,
yeah,
everything was.
Yeah, they found the spot in late April, and they broke open the locked gate with a crowbar and replaced the lock with one of their own so they'd be able to use it, which is so messed up. But before that, so in February, the pair didn't assault any of the 20 hitchhikers they picked up. They were essentially using them as practice runs as a way for them to develop the ruse and to lure girls into the van voluntarily and then discover the secluded location.
It's
like,
so gross.
We're going to use this girl as a practice run.
You're just a prop. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I figured you'd get all the info on the victims as you normally do. So
I do have
there was Lucinda Lynn Schaefer, who was 16, Andrea Joy Hall, 18, Jackie Doris Gilliam, 15, and Jacqueline Leah Lamp, 13, and Shirley Lynette Ledford, 16.
They're just so young. It's so sad.
So young.
So gross.
Yeah.
Their first victim was Cindy Schaefer, like you said, Lucinda. She was snatched off the sidewalk. They were smoking weed and driving around, photographing women like they do every day. And they found her walking down the street and asked her if she wanted weed or a ride. She said no, so they drove around, like kind of following her, watching her, and then snatched her. In the documentary, the woman asked, "Why did you pick her?" And he was like, "I don't know. She was all alone and she was young, and I don't know. It was just easy. She was
wrong place, wrong time.
Looking out for anyone." Yeah, he basically blamed her, obviously, because they blamed the victims in a creepy way.
They always blame the victim.
He said she was strangely low-key and didn't fight back. They tied her up in the back and drove to the mountains. Bittaker kept watch at the van while Norris raped her, and then they switched places several times. Cindy asked if they were going to kill her, and she asked if she could pray if they were, and they laughed and said, "God isn't here, only devils." So then they were like, "Oh, well, she's seen us and recognized us, and she could turn us in." Norris was a registered sex offender, so he would go to jail. I mean, they both would, but like,
yeah,
that's what they were worried about. So then Norris said, "You hold her and I'll strangle her." Norris got sick because she wouldn't die, and there was a creepy look on her face, he said. So he let go and vomited. Bittaker got a hanger and they twisted around her neck so tight it strangled her. They wrapped her in a shower curtain and threw her down the ravine.
Yeah, and this is essentially how they did it with
initially.
Yeah, and this is essentially how they did it with everyone.
Yeah.
And they would also take photos of them
posing and make them smile. So they showed a picture of the hanger and it was like this small. They said it was like the size of a quarter. That's how much they twisted it. And it's sick. Yeah. But they did use, I don't want to go through every single one because it's basically the same story, but they did use an ice pick as well.
Yep.
And they actually found the ice pick snapped off because the handle broke off in her head. So that's disturbing.
Yeah.
No, it was Jackie.
Yeah. And then, so obviously these murders happened. And then
terrible.
We meet Joseph Jackson, who became reacquainted with the two guys. And Norris felt comfortable in confiding in Jackson regarding his and Bittaker's exploits over the previous 5 months, including graphic details of the murder of Shirley Ledford. Upon hearing this confession, Jackson consulted his attorney, who advised him to inform the authorities. So if Norris hadn't opened his mouth, who knows how many more murders there would have been.
They would have kept doing it, yeah.
Absolutely. So Jackson agreed, and he and his attorney informed the Los Angeles Police Department, who in turn relayed the two men to the Hermosa Beach Police. Paul Bynum, who was assigned to what?
I do want to say that each murder they did, it kept getting worse. What they did to these women, it like kept getting longer. They would hold the women longer. The last one, they actually recorded the whole thing.
That's the Ledford one. So it's a 17-minute really recording. Creepy. How they were able to arrest the two men. So Norris had confided in Jackson, where he claimed he and Bittaker had sprayed mace in the face of a woman who matched a report filed about an incident that occurred on September 30th. Her name was Robin Robeck, and she had been sprayed in the face with mace before getting dragged into a van and raped by two Caucasian men in their mid-30s before being released. So Paul Bynum, who was assigned to investigate the claims, dispatched an investigator to visit Robin at her residence in Oregon to show her a series of mugshots. Without any hesitation, she positively identified two photos presented to her as those of the men who kidnapped and raped her, which were Norris and Bittaker. So they were then, upon linking Bittaker and Norris to the rape, the Hermosa Beach Police placed Norris under surveillance. And I said that like a true New Englander. Surveillance. Within days, they observed Norris dealing weed. So they were able to arrest him for a parole violation. On the same day, Bittaker was also arrested for the rape. And although Robin had identified the mugshot, she was unable to positively identify her assailants in a police lineup. So both were held on charges of parole violation because obviously they didn't want to let them back out. Which then led to a search of Bittaker's apartment, which is where they found several Polaroid photographs, which were determined as depicting two of the victims, both of whom had been reported as missing earlier the same year, and a bracelet he had taken off Ledford's body as a souvenir. They then went into the van and discovered a sledgehammer, a plastic bag filled with lead weights, a book detailing how to locate police radio frequencies, a jar of Vaseline, two necklaces belonging to two of the victims, and a tape recording of a young woman in distress, screaming and repeatedly pleading for mercy while being tortured and sexually abused. So Shirley Ledford's mother had to listen to that and was able to identify the voice as being her daughter's. Then they searched Bittaker's motel because Bittaker had his apartment and also the motel room in Burbank. There were 7 bottles of various acidic materials that investigators would later discover Bittaker planned to use these materials upon their next victim. So as Kaisa was saying, these murders were getting more and more intense, and to think they were actually going to use, to think they were going to use acid on the next person. Then they found almost 500 teenage girls and women photographed between the two homes. So Norris and Bittaker's homes, where most of these pictures had been taken without the girls' knowledge or consent.
There's one photo of Jackie where they posed her in the woods and they made her smile and they showed the picture and she's just like, she has a black eye and she's like smiling and like
tied up.
And it's so sad. Like you can just see her eyes, like she's given up. I want to say before we move on that Jackie and Leah actually, they almost escaped outside of a I think it was tennis court. One of them got out of the van and was screaming and then they hit her in the head with a sack of BB guns, knocked her back into the truck, and then he was like, sorry, she's having a bad LSD trip. We're taking her home. And they just like, no one called the police or anything. Like, can you imagine that happening today?
If someone screamed bad LSD trip, someone would be like, I'm calling the cops.
Even that, yeah. Even that.
Like it's not the 60s and 70s anymore. Like who is
God.
No. But yeah, so Norris was the first to confess. He attended a preliminary hearing concerning the rape of Robin. At the hearing, he actually waived his Miranda rights before Detective Bynum and Deputy District Attorney Stephen Kay began questioning him. It was initially concerning Robin Robeck, and then the statements were given to the police and evidence recovered from Bittaker's residences that he flatly denied any involvement in any of the murders, rapes, or disappearances. However, when confronted with the evidence investigators had compiled, he began to confess. Although he did attempt to portray Bittaker as being more culpable in the murders than himself. Because obviously he didn't want to take all the blame.
Mm-hmm.
And in a press statement relating to the police investigation into the murders issued on February 7th, 1980, Los Angeles County Sheriff Pete Pitchess stated the victims had been subjected to sadistic and barbaric abuse, adding that 5 charges of first-degree murder would be sought against both Bittaker and Norris. Pitchess also stated that police had also identified 19 of the women depicted in the pictures as being individuals who had been reported missing, and that the teenage girls and young women may have all been murdered. He did stress that they had no conclusive evidence to suggest that these additional 19 women photographed had fallen victim. However, they felt it absolutely couldn't be true.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just so crazy how the two of them go about the trial so differently. Norris fully went in, pled guilty. Bittaker, on the other hand, he was arraigned on 29 charges of kidnapping, rape, sodomy, and murder, in addition to the various charges of criminal conspiracy and possession of a firearm. He was also charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit murder dating from December 1999, in which he had unsuccessfully attempted to persuade 2 inmates due to be released to murder Robin Robeck in order to prevent her from testifying against him. When asked for his plea, he remained silent, and Judge William Hollingsworth entered a plea of not guilty on his behalf. So then we go into the trial where Norris testified as to how he became friends with Bittaker in jail, how the pair formulated a plan to kidnap, rape, and kill teenage girls. And responding to questions from the prosecutor, Norris stated that in June 1979, he had unsuccessfully attempted to abduct and rape a woman who escaped unharmed. And then he went in and chronologically recounted all of the 5 murders, in addition to the rape of Robin and the attempted abduction of a woman named Jan Mallon, which had also occurred on September 30th, as well as the attempted abduction of an identified young woman on September 22nd. About the actual murders, he said he unsuccessfully attempted to strangle Schaefer, where then Bittaker had strangled her instead. He had also been told by Bittaker to drive to a nearby store to purchase alcohol when Hall was murdered, after which when he returned to find Bittaker smiling and holding Polaroid pictures he had taken of Hall after informing he intended to kill her. About Lamp and Gilliam, he stated that the 2 girls were held captive for over a day before being murdered, adding that Bittaker had killed Gilliam before he himself bludgeoned Lamp about the head as Bittaker strangled her. And then when discussing the abuse and torture of Shirley Ledford, he stated he had, upon the insistence of Bittaker, committed the actual murder. Bittaker had informed him that I should kill her because I hadn't killed anyone yet. I knew this was coming, so I agreed. They also used a coat hanger to strangle her, and then stated that the pair had driven to Sunland, where he discarded Shirley Ledford's body upon the front lawn as Bittaker waited in his van.
Oh
So
yeah, I
then,
forgot they dropped one of them in the front lawn, and someone thought it was actually a mannequin for a while, and then they called the police when they found out.
yeah. So
So sick.
So this then led to the 7-minute section of audio tape that the pair had created of Ledford's abuse and torment. Apparently Bittaker had repeatedly played this as he drove in the weeks before his arrest. He considered the contents to be quote unquote really funny. How fucking messed up is that?
I watched some of their testimonies, and it was
Mhm.
really, really, really dark. Like the way that Bittaker talked about stuff, he was like, we paid her to perform, like to play along and act out that she was enjoying the stuff and to act like it was a rape. And he was like, but she just wasn't doing it right, so I had to hit her. And like it was so fucking disgusting the way he was talking
Ugh,
about it. I was like, how does this happen to a human? How do they
I don't
become this?
know.
It's so creepy.
Yeah. And the
Anyway,
tape, yeah, and then the tape was played in front of more than 100 people in the courtroom.
and they were leaving like
Yeah.
horrified.
Yeah. So some people
I
actually
was
physically,
wondering,
yeah. Yes.
how can jurors sue for emotional distress?
I don't know. That's
Because
a good question. I've never, knock on wood,
all
have
of
done
them were
jury
like, I've
duty.
never heard this kind of screaming. I've never heard of any of this. Like they had interviews of the jurors and they were like, I can't stay in that room and listen to that. It's so horrifying. Like it traumatizes you to hear that
Yeah,
kind
it's
of thing.
traumatic.
Like I wonder if jurors can sue for like
I don't know.
distress, emotional distress. I'm so
We got to look
curious.
that
I'm gonna
up.
look that up. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so the deliberation lasted 3 days. On February 17th, 1981, Bittaker was found guilty of 5 counts of first-degree murder, 1 charge of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, 5 charges of kidnapping, 9 charges of rape, 2 charges of forcible oral copulation, 1 charge of sodomy, and 3 charges of unlawful possession of a firearm. There was then the death penalty deliberation, which began on February 19th and lasted just 90 minutes, where Bittaker was sentenced to death for the 5 counts of first-degree murder upon which the prosecution had sought this penalty. He showed no emotion as the verdict was delivered, although he did stare at the jurors. Did he
The
talk about
jurors
that at
took
all?
60 seconds. No, they took 60 seconds to approve the death penalty. Like it was, that's what the vote was.
Yeah.
60 seconds. Everyone was like immediate because yeah, they showed his face in the courtroom and he was just like nothing. Nothing behind the eye. It's so scary.
So March 24th, 1981 was the formal sentencing. And if the sentence imposed was ever reverted to life imprisonment, Judge Thomas Fredericks imposed an alternative sentence of 199 years and 4 months to take immediate effect. The initial execution date for Bittaker was set for December 29th, 1989, which Bittaker appealed. And on June 11th, 1990, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the decision for him to be executed. His renewed execution date was scheduled for July 23rd, 1991, sorry. But Bittaker again appealed the decision and was granted a further stay of execution on July 9th. He was granted several death row interviews following his 1981 conviction. Like you were saying, never expressed any remorse for his crimes. He apparently filed more than 40 frivolous lawsuits while in jail, being served a broken cookie and crushed sandwiches by the prison cafeteria. That was one of his suits.
Joking.
No.
That's ridiculous.
He's cited as examples of him being subjected to cruel and unusual punishment. He was declared
anything to make him the victim. Like that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's trying to make himself the victim.
Ready for me to butcher a word? You ready?
Yeah.
Was declared a vexatious, oh, maybe I said it right, litigant in 1993 and was not allowed to file lawsuits without the express permission of an attorney or a judge because he filed so many ridiculous suits.
Oh my God. That's really funny.
Yeah. In 2016, he was asked if he would consider writing to the victims' families, which he claimed he was too ashamed to even try to beg for forgiveness. The sincerity of his expressions of remorse had been disputed by numerous professionals who referenced Bittaker's consistent reveling in his notoriety and who noted the fact he would tailor his outlook on his actions to one of regret to those whose attentions he wished to maintain. He finally died on death row. Yeah. He finally died on death row at San Quentin State Prison on December 13th, 2019, at the age of 79, and it was reported as natural causes. And then Norris was incarcerated and put at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility, and he also died of natural causes at the California Medical Facility on February 24th, 2020, at the age of 72. He had repeatedly claimed that the sole reason he participated in the murder was out of fear of Bittaker, and also claimed to have twice contemplated confessing to his and Bittaker's responsibilities in the murder to the police. He also claimed to have deterred 3 potential victims from entering Bittaker's van. He said that Bittaker was the only one who enjoyed the acts of torture and murder, quoting, "I didn't enjoy killing. That was Lawrence. It was his favorite part, watching the women struggle to live, knowing he'd soon be taking their life away." But investigators and psychologists have stated Norris derived equally extreme gratification from the domination, abuse, and torture inflicted upon the victims. He initially became eligible for parole in 2009, but declined to attend his parole hearing, thereby automatically deferring his parole. And then he was denied parole again in 2019 and died while still incarcerated.
So Bittaker actually died of cancer and a heart failure.
What? And you let me talk?
Well, I just wasn't sure, but it was in the documentary, like, that he talked about how he was in so much pain with this woman, and he was like saying that he is starting to have feelings, and he was like crying at the TV when a goat died, and he's like, I'm no longer a sociopath. Yeah, he was saying that, and he was like, maybe I'm getting a taste of what my victims went through, and they like had him sobbing over the phone, and it was really horrifying.
That feels
and fake
awkward
and gross.
Yeah.
It was so okay. So this, you got to watch it, because this woman she says she's friends with him. Like, she called if he could be the uncle to her son, and she was like, sure.
What?
Like, there are pictures of them with their arms around each other. It's really, really creepy. But she was just like really wanted to get super close to him to study him as a psychologist. But like the way she did it really creeps me out, and I feel like there has to be something wrong with her. She had empathy towards him, you know?
You know what I'm interested in learning more about is people who are like attracted to people like this.
Yeah, that's sick.
You know, that kind of like I wonder what's up with the people who actually are like voluntarily.
We should talk about that.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, wait, one more thing that freaked me out was that, yeah, Jackson. So he actually was so terrified when they were in jail. He thought they were going to get out of jail and come after him, so he committed suicide, and he wrote a letter saying,
oh my
maybe
God,
if I die, he'll let my wife and kid live. So he killed himself because he was so scared of them.
And to think it was just
and
because
that
he was
guy
trying
was
to do the
also
right
convicted
thing.
But he was also convicted.
But that's how
rapist.
he knew them. Yeah. And to
so,
think he got out and like
horrifying.
Yeah. So scary.
So he killed, that's the saddest, like the whole thing is really fucked up. Anyway.
The whole thing is disturbing and all that. But I'm glad, I guess I'm not glad, but like I am glad we finally covered it, because you and I have been talking about this case for a few months now and have been debating on should we talk about it, should we not talk about it. But I think it's a very interesting and fascinating one, based on the fact that these two were essentially set up for this kind of life.
And maybe like, there needs to be more control in prison with like who can communicate about what, and like,
and who's around who, and
right. I'm sure there is more control over that now, but
I mean, I'd hope so.
So scary.
We don't need more people like this, God forbid, knock on wood. Like,
so scary.
but yeah,
so scary.
Okay, let's take a deep breath, everyone.
The whole time you were talking, every time you did like a gesture, a thumbs up would come up. It would be like, they were murdered. Like
I
was
don't
trying not to
need
laugh
to,
the whole
it's not that I'm trying to do a thumbs up. It's literally I don't know these settings on my Zoom.
I want to make a clip of all the like dark things you're saying with thumbs up popping up and like tag Zoom
People
and
are
be
gonna
like,
think I'm
what the fuck?
insane if they don't think so already. Oh,
Like,
anyway,
Zoom, are you doing?
welcome back, everyone who skipped out.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We just took a collective deep breath to switch gears because there's really no good segue between what we just talked about and what we're about to talk about. So, yeah, guys, the new season of Drag Race has started.
How about we're going from a drag of a story to a drag of a story to Drag Race? I don't know.
We also just talked about a van, and we're talking about Drag Race now.
Yeah, that's good. Love it.
You like how I also did this? Like,
I'm surprised the thumbs up didn't pop up.
Fuck off. I love you. Sorry. But yeah,
I'm just jealous. Mine doesn't do it.
I don't know why mine does. I don't know. I'm the only one who can do it. I don't get it. Anyway, sorry.
Love it.
Season 16 of RuPaul's Drag Race, the American version, has started. So excited.
It's been great.
Kaisa and I are huge fans of the show. Huge. And we actually know someone who does artwork and goes to BravoCon and sells his work, which is kind of cool.
Yes, we do.
Go Devin. And so yeah, this season 2 of our podcast, we're trying to talk about other things besides Bravo. So sorry for anyone. Next week, we'll talk about Vanderpump Rules because we know that's coming back. We're both so excited. We got the countdown going on our Instagram. Don't forget, you can actually get a notification for when it goes off. We got you covered. Don't you worry. But before, let's talk about Drag Race. We have a whole new cast. They went and did they did a part 1 and 2 opening, which I feel like is because it's a twist. They've done it before though.
Yeah, I guess they have.
They did it season 6. They did it.
Yeah.
I feel like because it's an even season. It's like a trend of an even
season.
They did it season 12 with Jan.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yes. I kind of don't mind. I kind of like the split because you get to know them a little better.
Yeah,
hard when
exactly.
It's a ton of them all at once. Yeah.
And no one was I was about to say voted off the island, but that's incorrect. No one sashayed away.
They are using a lot of Survivor things in this.
I know.
By the way.
Yeah,
and I love Survivor. I'm a huge Survivor fan.
My sister is obsessed with Survivor.
The newest season is the best one, by the way.
She's obsessed with Survivor and the challenge, and I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Yes, I'm obsessed with the challenge.
I gotta say, I just
Traitors.
Traitors, yeah.
Yeah, he used to be on Real World Road Rules challenges. He's on he's from Charlestown, which is right across the bridge from where I live.
Oh,
what a man.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Sorry, please continue.
I thought Group 1 in Drag Race was so much better than Group 2.
So much stronger.
Do you agree?
So as a collective, so much stronger. Really like the talent show aspect of doing that as the first episodes, because you actually get to see what these queens are capable of. And honestly, I'm kind of over them just doing the normal, like, let me lip sync to a song and dance around. Because, like, we know we're going to see that eventually. Like, I enjoy the ones that do something a little different. Like when Willow Pill did it and did the Enya song with the bathtub and the toaster oven. Like, how fucking stupid was that? But so amazing. Like,
amazing. Yeah.
Give me something like that. Like, Plain Jane, yes, our Boston queen, we love. She is downright insane, and I adore her. But Burger Finger, burger finger was
I thought that was so funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was
like,
very...
who's coming up with that? It was very Jimbo.
Jimbo, yeah. It was
but the
very
problem
Jimbo,
is that
who I'm seeing, by the way, in March.
So many people are comparing her to Jimbo that she actually had to come out and make a statement being like, I am not trying to be Jimbo.
I know. I laughed. I was like, this is absurd.
I laughed.
And her
I was like, this is the
for it was
stupidest
like,
thing.
I smelled burgers with my fingers.
I was
like,
eating a cheeseburger and I smelled my finger, and that was it. But like when she takes the ketchup and mustard bottles and is squeezing it out of her fake tits, I'm like,
it's pretty good.
I'm like, what is happening? And then it wasn't ending, and you just see her face, and I was like, what the?
Okay, I'm loving the like comedic relief of the chest plates, because chest plates have come and gone, and like now I'm loving like the weird ones. Like the two close together ones. It was yeah.
Saphira Crystal's like itty bitty
I
titty committee,
so
and like they were so tiny and so close together. And Michelle was like, clearly, Michelle was like, this is clearly your first breastplate. Like, okay.
Yeah. They were so
But I mean, what about her talent show? Singing opera and changing the words on the screen. I was like, this is fantastic.
It is so creative, and she was so good. Like, the opera was so beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, then you have Q, who did the ballet. That was funny.
Hands.
Yes. But see, like, the ones we remember and the ones we like are the different ones, except for Mirage.
Yeah.
You think I'm a bitch? I loved that.
Mirage was funny. I did see like too much of the campy Las Vegas. Like,
I mean, yeah.
It was like every queen I see from Las Vegas, I'm like, okay, you're really talented, but like you do one thing and then I don't know.
One trick pony.
It seems too curated a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I mean, she even said that about herself. She's like, I'm a Las Vegas queen. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the heel clacking is very talented.
Yeah, I agree.
I was like, how do I learn how to do that? I have to grow like 6 foot long legs.
I really need you to do that. I need to see you do it.
Not with my stubs. I'm a solid 5'4" on a good day.
Spinning around on the floor like I need that.
It's not happening. Okay.
There's so many New York queens, I'm just realizing.
There's always so many New York queens though.
Yeah.
Always.
And I love that they all know each other and they all have like opinions about each other. It makes the drama.
What did you think about the ball being so like the freaking first real episode?
It was amazing. It was like the outfits. Here's something I'll say. Yeah. The designers they hire to make those outfits, I've heard like the inside scoop. They pay so much money, and I feel like those artists need to be recognized. The ones that are actually making like, their costumes. I feel like there's no recognition.
I completely agree. I feel like some queens do that on their Instagram when the episode comes out. They're like, this outfit was designed by this person. I think they all need to be doing that. Mm-hmm. The other thing I think, and you know exactly what I'm about to say, because I say it every fucking week that there's a design challenge, is that how do you get on season 16 of RuPaul's Drag Race and you don't know how to do a basic stitch? How can you come on the show and not know how to sew?
Like, even if you find out that you are going on the show, take some classes.
At least take one.
Ask your grandma or something.
Yes.
Like,
just learn how to do one stitch. That's all we're asking. Because if I see Hershey Liqueur Jeté's stupid ass outfit, sorry, that looked like it came off the rack at Kmart. No offense to Kmart, but like,
but
it was bad. And then the pants,
not drag level.
she didn't even make the pants. The pants were pants she had, and all she did was hot glue in fucking fabric to the pockets. She deserved to go home. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. She deserved to go home.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Okay, and I'm wondering, like, I just don't get how you're acting surprised that there are sewing challenges. Like, they all
There's no
are always
surprise.
like, they're
You know
always
there's
like,
gonna be
what? Oh, I don't know how to sew.
you know that there's gonna be sewing challenge, acting challenge, snatch game. Come on.
Come
Be
on.
prepared.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing and the other thing I was upset about was last night or this Friday's episode, this past week, where Mirage didn't know the fucking words to the lip sync
Yeah.
song. I don't care if you did the best that week, you should still know the words to the lip sync song because you never know what's going to happen.
And they're given the songs beforehand.
Also,
So
it's
they
Dark
get
Lady
time to
by
practice.
Cher.
I know, right?
How do you
You
not
do
know?
drag. How do you not know that? Yeah.
It's a Cher
Like, but
themed
they're given them too.
episode. Yeah. But it's like
They're
the
given like
whole
a
thing
group
is
of
Cher
songs that they
themed.
need to learn. Yeah. Oh,
It's like
it
you
pisses me
gotta
off.
know it. But also it's
Like,
Dark Lady by Cher. Like,
everyone knows that.
how do you not know the words after like
Especially in drag culture though. Like that,
yeah, that's what I'm
especially
saying.
every
That's
Cher
like
song. Every
yeah,
Cher
you
song.
need to know the words. I'd understand more if it was like season 5 when it was Jinx versus Jinx and I love her. Why am I blanking? Detox. Jinx versus Detox.
Detox.
And it was that song. Do you remember when they did it at the candy ball?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like that crazy it was like in another lane. Yes, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yes.
I'd understand if she didn't know the words to that.
Sorry, I just looked up the video. Yeah.
But you know what song I'm talking about. It's like
Yes.
so crazy, like, and like I don't even think it's in English.
It's like circus song or something. I don't know.
I have it on my Spotify, but like I'd understand if Mirage didn't know the words to that song. The fact that her dance moves were great, like she was putting on a show. And I totally agreed with Plasma. I was like, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. Geneva Carr was very lucky that Mirage didn't know the words.
Mm-hmm. You're right. That could have been a toss-up. Yeah.
Who do you see as your top 4?
Okay. I was going to ask you the same thing. I'm saying Plasma.
Mm-hmm.
Q. God, this is really hard. I think Plain Jane is going to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dawn is going to be up there. She's a favorite right now.
I like Dawn a lot.
I like Dawn a lot too. And I see Rue really, really liking Dawn.
Rue like, loves.
Crush wise.
Always. My top 4 are Plain Jane, Saphira Crystal, Nymphia Wind.
Yeah, Saphira.
Nymphia Wind and Q. There's
really good.
There's a lot of talented queens. Mm-hmm. Notice how neither of us said a mandatory meeting.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Kind of love her. But at the same time,
yeah,
she needs help.
I think Geneva Carr will leave soon.
I think so too. I think Megami will too.
Morphine.
If she slaps her ass one more time. Like, we get it. You got a BBL. Like, congratulations.
How do you feel about Plain Jane being like a villain?
I mean, she's spewing facts.
Being that bad. Yeah.
She's not being that bad. Like, honestly.
I've heard a lot of like feedback from other reviewers that are like, in this climate, we need everyone to be super supportive. But I come to Drag Race to see a little bit of drama and shade. Like, that's part of drag.
Yeah.
That's
now
part
we're
of
getting
drag.
into, yes. But now we're getting into a whole other thing where like I can't stand, I feel like so many people are going to get mad at me, but I don't care. I can't stand the whole, everyone's a special snowflake. No, me either. That's not true. It's not true.
That takes away the fun of a competition. Like,
yeah.
That's
Like,
what this is a competition. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And part of it is being shady.
I grew up being told that there's always going to be someone smarter, faster, stronger than me, and I'd have to work my ass off to get there. I was not told I'm a special snowflake and everything great will happen to me. No, you got to work for it, people.
Like, all about being supportive of each other. Like, they can support each other and still be like dramatic.
Absolutely. Yes. But
like,
I live for a petty moment, guys. Why do you think I love Drag Race?
Yeah. Why do we watch all of the Bravo shows?
Yeah.
We watch?
Why are we here?
This is what we do. This is what we love. Yeah. But okay, who do you think will win? Like, calling it right now, if you had to, who would win? I know it's hard, but like, I want to have us like
Nymphia
call
wins.
someone. Okay, Nymphia.
Wins.
Wait, why didn't I say Nymphia as
I
the
don't
top?
know.
Obviously, Nymphia.
I think
was my
Nymphia
top
will win.
choice. Okay, I'm starting over. Nymphia is absolutely top because I think I called it when I texted you. I called that she was gonna win. Dawn, I think, Saphira. I think Plain Jane will get to the top but not win.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah. I think the top two will end up being
for now.
No, I think top two will end up being Saphira and Nymphia. Like, I can see that showdown.
I see that. Yeah.
I see that.
God, and it could be either one of them. But Nymphia is really smart.
That's why I'm so interested in seeing how this season plays out, because they're both really strong when it comes to look and comedy.
Performance. Yeah. And like any performance.
And performance. They are charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
They sure are. Okay,
I want to say the word, but I know we're bleeping that out.
They are
cunty. They're cunty.
They're fishy.
They're very, but not actually. They're not real. Like, they're amazing.
Really,
they're.
The next episode is live improv, which I feel like will be really good.
I love live improv. Wait, didn't they just do live improv too?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
The Mirage leaving episode was live improv, wasn't it? Yeah, it was RDR live.
Oh, what? There's a note that I have that says the next one is also live improv, but
it might be.
Wrong.
No, it might be.
I want it to be.
I want it to be Snatch Game already.
Yeah, I guess, but I like it when it's narrowed down a little bit for Snatch Game.
I think the Snatch Game episode is always the one that separates the true really talent. I feel like Chandela, where I keep going like team talent and team look. Like,
I want Nymphia to not cling to the banana looks.
Well,
and I'm worried she's gonna keep going back to bananas.
Well, she didn't
this last one with the blue.
No, she didn't do it for the ball either.
Yeah, the gown. It's beautiful. Yeah, so that was something I was worried about after the first episode. I was like, she's just gonna be a banana themed.
I mean, yeah, person. she went pretty ham on it. I mean, the tearaway look was fantastic though. I'm still not sure about the egg. I'm not sure about like the egg being a bunch of bananas as like her first look, but okay, sure.
Whatever.
We're into it. We're into it. It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
But yeah. This season is good. The guest judges have been great so far. Sarah Michelle Gellar giving me all of my Buffy fantasy. Like, I loved it. Isaac Mizrahi did the ball. And then we had Becky G and Charlize Theron.
I didn't know who the fuck Becky G was, first of all.
She goes singing in the shower.
Yeah. Then they played that and I was like,
that song came out forever ago though. Has she not had a hint?
I know. She's so young. Like, who is this?
She has great skin.
She did.
I love that. I did love that Charlize Theron came out though and was like, That's
what I was trying to think of.
Yes.
Charlize.
Sorry, he decided he wanted to join.
I saw
she's a girl crush. She's a girl crush of mine.
I love her. I love her. She's a hottie, and I love her in everything she's in.
Ori, what do you think of the season so far?
Ori, you look so clean and fresh.
The bear face. Anyway, sorry.
I love his face. Love
anything to recommend?
Okay, I haven't told you this, but I'm learning Swedish.
What?
I'm learning Swedish with Duolingo.
I love Duolingo.
So I was learning Spanish and like doing that consistently, but then Dane's sister got me on like the family plan that doesn't have ads and stuff. So
nice.
I've been obsessively doing the Swedish classes because my friend Jake does Swedish. So I'm learning to speak Swedish.
I totally forgot to ask you what you're thinking of the lip syncs so far.
I think they're good. I feel like, okay.
I find them underwhelming.
This is controversial. This is controversial. I want them to move to something else and not do
like no more lip sync for your life.
Yeah, I kind of want it
like,
to
what
be
would they
different.
do?
I want them to change it. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing that's like equal playing field.
Like that's what they do.
Lip syncing. I know.
My thing though is like,
but yeah, it's been boring.
When you've come from a season where you had Anitra versus Marsha doing Boss Bitch by Doja Cat, and both of them hit that like part. It's like,
no. I know. Okay, wait.
So
the
good.
First lip sync challenge with big booby lady. What's her face?
Saphira. Oh, Plain Jane.
Her boobs were popping out. I was laughing so hard because her nipple was out for a while and she had no idea. And she was like,
and Ross was like,
that was funny. Yeah, that was funny. And she like noticed it later on. But
I mean, Saphira killed. Saphira killed the Beyonce.
Yes.
That was really good.
But the rest have been just like,
meh.
Like I'm not paying full attention.
I need that Sasha Colby energy, and I'm not getting it.
I need some jump splits. I need some
I don't feel like they're lip syncing for their life. I feel like they're just lip syncing for their next meal.
It doesn't seem high energy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where is it?
Yeah.
I want to see someone
like
flip over someone else. Let's go.
They seem they're not interacting with each other either, which is something fun when they're like, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Chop chop. Sorry. All right. So you're doing Duolingo.
What do you
love
recommend?
that. Oh, what am I recommending?
I know what you're recommending.
I'm not recommending that. That is I'm already blushing thinking about that. No, I'm not recommending that. Okay, fine. I downloaded
what about
app.
Your books?
Yeah, that's what I was going toward. But yeah, the Quinn app is very interesting.
I need to check it out. I still haven't.
Just be forewarned. I'm warning you right now.
Okay.
Don't listen to it. And I may have tried listening to it while grocery shopping and may have dropped an apple.
Fall down
it was not good.
Yeah.
It was not good. But yes, my books. I'm obsessed with Zodiac Academy right now. It's so good. The writing's awful. However,
but everyone loves it.
I've flown through a book a day, essentially. And like the books keep getting longer and longer. I think I'm on book 4 right now, and it's like 600 and something pages, 600, 700 pages. Book 6 is like 1,200 pages. Well, I get really into it.
So fast.
I'm trying to get to the smut. Amazing. I'm trying to get through the like, oh, they found out they were a phoenix. Great. But when does the professor come back? Yeah, I'm like, when does Lance Orion come back? Because that's really what I'm interested in. Like, where is it?
Where is it?
And then A Court of Thorns and Roses, that whole ACOTAR. It's so good. That whole series.
Okay. Loving this.
Loving it.
Any shows?
I started rewatching The Sopranos.
God, I just did that a couple years ago.
If you haven't seen it, so good. Fun fact, my grandmother's maiden name was Soprano.
I mean,
that's the correct way.
Sense.
Thanks. What are you trying to say?
Wait, I've been watching the new True Detective
I haven't started it yet.
It's good. So it's like a totally new thing in Alaska. But my friend just told me that one of the characters is actually tied into Matthew McConaughey's character.
Yes.
And I didn't know that. They haven't
saw
like
the
told us
clip.
anything about it. But yeah.
I saw the clip on
Yeah.
TikTok. Yeah, so I feel like things have already been screwed for me in that, but like
No, that's nothing. That is not
Okay.
anything. Like it doesn't tell anything about the plot. It's like
Okay, good.
It's good. I recommend it. I also started
Funny.
watching Chicago Med again, which I totally forgot came back on, and then I thought of it 1 minute and I was like, I'm watching both episodes.
Wait, but like are you watching the new season?
Yeah.
But isn't Dr. Halstead not there anymore? See, like my heartthrob's gone. I don't know if I can watch it now.
I know. He is actually one of the best characters, so maybe he'll come back.
I love him.
Yeah. I don't like his like weird I don't like the drug addicted OB. I don't like her.
Oh, yeah, when he dated Hannah.
It annoys me. But she's
his brother is on Chicago PD. And I can't get into
Really?
Chicago PD.
I haven't watched that. I've been watching Chicago Fire as like
Chicago
noise,
Fire.
I still watch it.
I love Chicago Fire. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I go back and forth between Severide and Casey all the time. But then my problem with Severide is that he's Lady Gaga's ex-fiance.
What? I didn't know that.
Taylor Kinney, yes. And that's the song You and I is about him.
Whoa. I need to watch this with a new
fun facts of the day.
That's a good one. It's a good fun.
But then you know who I also really love?
Who?
Like Otis.
Mm-hmm.
I'd date Otis.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I would end up dating. Let's face it.
Too. I
would date Otis.
I don't know who I would date.
That's always the game I play when I watch these shows. That's always the game I play when I watch these shows. I'm like, which one would I date? Again, mustache. It's been super fun, you guys. Great episode.
It's been fun. We're ADD.
Guys is gonna have so much fun editing this.
I will. I'll have a blast. I'm gonna do it really quick, actually.
Yeah, because this needs to go out. But guys, thank you again for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, leave a review. Don't just give us stars, leave a little review so we can know what you're thinking. You can also comment on each episode. So let us know what you think. And then also don't forget, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, and we're on iHeartRadio now. Woo! And don't forget to go on our website. You can also listen to all the episodes there. We're going to hopefully start a newsletter or something. I don't know. We're talking about it. It's apparently an option on our website. So, yeah. And thanks for sticking in there while we went on this interesting journey today. But
thank you.
It was fun. Thanks. Have a great one, guys. Bye.
Bye.